Coming to everyone tonight as we come to the end of October already, October 30th. But this is a very special episode. Not only is it the second day in Colorado Springs of snow, but it also is an anniversary. This month, from July 19th to October 19th, was 5 months of this epic adventure that Father's been taking Kimberly, Emery, Mercy, and I upon. And it has been one packed full of adventure, packed full of receiving new revelation, because pain is the place of revelation. Once again, pain is the place of revelation. I believe that more than I ever have in my life, as my life has been marked by a lot of great pain. And tonight I wanted to celebrate the faithfulness of my Father, who is perfect in all of his ways, who has brought us so far. 15 months. I never would have guessed. 15 months. It was just shy of 15 months that Emery got to come home. I'll never forget that day. Oh man, it was so invigorating to leave, to graduate from the NICU, and to be able to celebrate how far we've come, to be out of an environment that really was, quite frankly, toxic. A lot of stresses, a lot of things going on in there, and I couldn't be more thankful to be out of the NICU. And it was powerful holding her for the last time that I was there in the NICU that last night. And getting to reflect and reminisce and remember to feed on his faithfulness, as David says to do. Feed on his faithfulness. To cultivate in the land. In Psalm 37, he says, "Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and befriend, cultivate, or feed," can be translated on faithfulness. Have you fed on his faithfulness recently? Have you really pondered, stepped back, and looked at your life and said, "Man, God, you're amazing. I never could have guessed that you would have brought me this far. You are faithful." I'm telling you, if you take the time and you sit down with a journal and you just reflect on the last week, the last month, the last year, the last couple years, they may have been painful, they may have been filled with adversity and a lot of pain. But I'm telling you, if you really look for Father, you'll see how he is faithful in all of his ways. And that's the question I want to linger in this episode, this Mercy Moment and Emery episode. Have you ever looked back at your life in a season and marveled in how far you've come and how much you have overcome? Have you ever done that? Well, I'm going to teach you how to do that and model that in this episode tonight. So I come to you just reflecting, man, I can't believe it. When I got the news that Kimberly's placenta was failing, I won't forget it. I was at USAA in Phoenix, over there in the Noterra area, just right there behind the Noterra shopping mall. And I had just purchased a salad, mixed greens with rice, chicken, and a bunch of veggies, and a yummy sesame dressing. So good. I literally was just about to pay for it. I get the call. My stomach dropped to the ground. My appetite was gone, because I realized the gravity of what we were then up against, and it was serious. The placenta, the source of nutrients and blood for the babies, was failing. And we were advised to check into the hospital or to come back in a few days for a checkup. And I wrestled, man. I went home that night and I'm like, do we need to go to the hospital or should we wait? And I took a long walk. It was about 10, 11 p.m. Walked around the neighborhood. At that time, we were just right across the street from Arizona Christian University, about 28th Street in Cactus. And I took that walk, and I had an urgency in my spirit where Father said, go tonight. So we went, we checked into St. Joe's about 11:30 midnight. And that, I don't remember the exact date, but it was about just over a week. Kimberly was on bed rest, heart rates being monitored, being woken up constantly to make sure our girls were going to be okay. And it was a long journey, man. It was long, sleeping in the hospital and going to work, sleeping on a cot in the room. Those were some precious days, and I will never forget the moment I went into the chapel and I received a revelation, and I preached it to myself in that really really beautiful chapel there at St. Joe's over there downtown off of Thomas in Phoenix. I took that time and I preached 2 Corinthians 4:16 through 18 to myself, where Paul spoke to the church and he said, therefore, key transition, there's a lot before it, brings context, but therefore we do not lose heart. Why? Though we outwardly waste away, yet inwardly we're being renewed day by day. These light and momentary afflictions are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs it all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. Because what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. So I drew on the analogy of the light coming through the windows of the stained glass there, and I preached a message. I got up in that pulpit there, quiet, sanctuary, no one in there. And what resonated in my spirit was a word I had received from John Piper, where he says, preach these truths to yourself until your heart sings with confidence that you are renewed and that you are cared for. So I did that. I got up, and that has been the undergirding foundation of this entire journey. Knowing that my Father is working all of the pain, all the chaos, all of the crisis from our highest glory, because we love Him and are called according to His purpose. That these light and momentary afflictions, and they are light, they are momentary. This is not forever, friends. That's big to understand in the suffering that you face. It isn't forever. It may feel like it, may seem like it, but I'm here to tell you it's not. Light and momentary. You need a renewal perspective tonight. May this really sink deep into your soul. Your trials are not forever. They are light and momentary in comparison to eternity. You've got to get a picture and revelation and understanding, a vision bigger than right now, or you will crumble under the pressure, under the pain, and under the circumstances. So Paul reveals something critical here. I've got to get eyes that see more than what I can see. And that's eternity. An eternal perspective will change your trials into one of the greatest opportunities of your life. Because I believe adversity is the Father's calling card saying, come close, son, come close, daughter, I have a lot to show you. Because pain is the place of revelation. I share all this to come to the moment of the emergency C-section. So it was about 8-9 days into that. We then had the girls' heart rates drop significantly. Once in the afternoon, and then in the later afternoon, I got a call at work the second time. Get here now, we're doing an emergency C-section. So I'm flying, I'm weaving through traffic and coming a long ways. Arlie, come here, buddy. As I have my boy out here with me. Hey, buddy, you coming through the snow? There you go. So I'm winding, trying to get there as quick as I can. As you can fathom, fathers, I know you probably know the journey. If you had kids, you've had a very crazy circumstance. And in that place, got there, and they said, oh, we'll wait one more time. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it was crazy. I almost ran out of gas, had to stop and get gas. It was epic. All that said, we get there, we're going to wait one more time. So it's about 10 p.m. They drop very deeply. And the doctor comes in, who I've become really good friends with, our delivery doctor, Dr. Michael Hervey, dear brother, follower of Jesus as well. And he comes in, he says, we can go now or we can wait. The word in my spirit was now. Now. Don't wait. Just like going into the hospital. Same urgency. And we got to go into the hospital, and we did. We went into the emergency section, had a lot more control, I guess. It wasn't as chaotic. We came into the OR. So before that, backtrack a few steps. So I went and found him. I'm like, hey, brother, can we pray? One thing I didn't share, before we went into the hospital, we went and saw him in his office, and I had said, hey, can we pray? Our relationship begun with prayer, and we had a connection, a bond through this journey. So I go and find him right before the C-section. I say, hey, brother, can we pray again? He's like, you beat me to it. I get down on one knee beside him sitting in the chair, and we say, Jesus, we yield these circumstances to you, and we ask that you would show up. And we lift the outcome to you, knowing that's not in our hands, but we place that in your hands, and we trust you. And the peace of God, guys, was so dense in that OR room. Oh my goodness, friends, as we went into that OR room, I had a smile. I was wearing a mask, all suited up, but I went in, and the peace of God was so amazing in that OR room that was swarming 20, 30 people. But the peace was so real. And I could see people squirming that didn't know Jesus. Jesus, being the Prince of Peace, was present, and his presence was dominating the atmosphere. And I was holding Kimberly's hand, this grin, ear to ear, and confident, resting in my Father. And when I came into the OR room, the song by Casting Crowns, Thrive, was on, because our dear brother, the doctor's wife, their team, and she had the Caleb app on. The app ended up failing, and I requested personally for her to put Prince of Peace on by Hillsong United. So she puts the song on. Oh man, it was so cool. As the OR room got louder, the song got louder. My focus was clear, and the peace was real. It was amazing, friends. Anyways, at the climax of that song, I then received, it was so cool, man. At the climax, the girls were born. Mercy first at 1 pound, 12 inches. Then Emery, 1 pound, 3 ounces. And I forget her exact length. I think it was like 15 inches. And Emery looked gray. I wasn't sure if we were going to lose her, frankly. It was really intense. And I was nervous, but I went with Mercy immediately to the NICU. I had no idea the journey that we were in for. But what I did know was my Father was with me. Just as David said, the Lord is my shepherd. I will fear no evil. Why? For you are with me. And that has been the strength of this journey, friends. That is what has been empowering, strengthening, and fortifying us. That's what personally has been strengthening my heart, strengthening my spirit to keep forging forward. So with that said, I'm going to skip a lot, fast forward now with me. I think it's close to 475, 480, 490. I'm not sure where we're at. But Emery got out of the NICU 454 days, to be exact. Day 455 was spent on the 9th floor after graduating the NICU, and couldn't be more elated. And the journey has been amazing. She has overcome, and she's just thrived, frankly. She's thrived, and we have penciled in dates, maybe middle of November, that she could be coming home like crazy. And opposition still comes. We're in a war. The battle is real. We're called to take dominion as sons and daughters of God, and I'm so thankful. I'm battling from eternal victory. I can't lose. And she has shown symptoms, possibly fighting. She's fighting something. Her immune system's fighting something. So appreciate your prayers there. Both Kimberly and I got sick. It's about 2 weeks ago I got sick. I've been battling. I just took a trip to tie in this story. Took a trip to Phoenix to join some dear brothers for an intensive called Unleashed. If you're a man, I can't more strongly endorse and encourage you to do this. If you want information, be happy to give you that. But transformative weekend, learning to live from my heart and receiving healing from some wounds that I faced and understanding my mission more clearly. It was really impactful. It was so sweet. I actually spent the first 2 nights in Phoenix in my old room, the room I grew up in like late junior high through early high school. And guys, when I got there, flew into Phoenix this last Tuesday, 11 p.m. And as I went into my room to sleep, my heart was just overwhelmed by the goodness and faithfulness of my Father. And I remembered the many moments I sought him in that room. And I got to just stretch out on my face and worship him and thank him for how far he's brought me. I was overwhelmed by his majesty, his faithfulness, and his eternal goodness, and how far he's brought me, man. Oh, he is so faithful. I boast in you, Yahweh, faithful. And the journey continued. I got to go back to Arizona Christian University, where I graduated from, and yet again remember his faithfulness. Remember how far he's brought me, the things he's equipped me, and the things he's showed me, the people in my life. So many dear people there at ACU, as I posted about a couple days ago on Facebook. And I am just so encouraged, friends. He has been incredibly faithful. And he is the same yesterday, today, and forever. If you're struggling to see his faithfulness, I want to encourage you to seek him with your whole heart. He is faithful in all of his ways. Our baby girls were born July 19th, 2017. This is a special 19 edition, the 19th episode. And I couldn't be more delighted to celebrate and reflect, to feed on his faithfulness, and to remember it. So I encourage you in the same, friends. Let your perspective be renewed and transformed by remembering and reflecting, rehearsing how far you've come, and looking at how you've been empowered to overcome as a follower of Jesus. If you're not following him, today, if you hear his voice, don't harden your heart. Turn to him with everything. It's a whole life exchange, all of you for all of him. Get real with God. You don't need anyone else, but heart to heart, cry out to him. He is close, and time is short. We only have so much time. You were created for him. May you know the faithfulness of the Father. I close tonight with that note. He is faithful in all of his ways, and he is the good Father who is perfect in all of his ways. You are seen, loved, and treasured by the Father. You are not forgotten. He is near. That is what brought me to life and energized me. It's what keeps me going, friends. And that's available for all of us, because he came for all to be saved, all to be set free, for all to be bound up, to bind up the brokenhearted. Oh, he is so good. The good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Can you sing this with me, friends? Turn off this video. Get alone with him. May you worship him as he is, a faithful Father, perfect in all of his ways.